about the scale of the problem for a minute, I would like to see if we could put up a chart from the Partnership Fighting Chronic Disease. This is a group that recently, and I think this data really was created in about 2019, projected the cost of chronic disease for California between 2016 and 2030. They put that number at $4.7 trillion, an incredible burden. And if you go to the next page, when they looked at where you could get potential savings in this burden, 90% of this or more came from treatment advances, $60.4 billion a year, 900 billion of the $1.1 trillion. So this mission of early intervention therapies and getting the cost of those therapies down to where they are possible economically for coverage by our California programs, as well as private insurers, as well as companies, is a challenge that is critical for every family, but also for the state, because unless we can get these therapies to be accessible and affordable, we cannot really deal with the burden of chronic illness over the next decade in California, much less the decades that follow. If we can take that slide down, please. So I think
move on pretty quickly.
I think whether or not you're focused and those people who are your critics are focused on chronic disease and patient access, they need to understand that your mission and the mission of this agency is going to be critical to the state having enough savings to deal with climate change, education, employment equality, and every one of the other major challenges we face within the state. It's an accident of history that we have this opportunity in California. It is an accident of history that we have the opportunity through this initiative to assemble your group. You have an impossible mission, but remember, it was impossible to pass this initiative in the middle of a pandemic. The people of California had the mission, and I thank you for dedicating yourself to this mission.
Thank you, Bob. I hope you haven't made them disillusioned with what they're about to undertake.
Art, can I?
Any questions of Mr. Klein?
Can I just add something to what Bob said very quickly, Mr. Chairman?
Very quickly, very quickly.
Yes. So Bob, amongst many other great things he wrote into this this section of the initiative, included one of the membership as being a healthcare economist that can sort of drive the economic studies that he referred to in his presentation just now. One of our membership who had an unavoidable conflict today was Dana Goldman, who is the dean of the USC Saul Price School of Public Policy and a very prominent healthcare economist who will be instrumental in guiding the economic analytical efforts of this group. I just wanted to add that since he was not able to introduce himself at the outset. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, and I want to thank Dana because I recruited him to write the study, and thank God they did a good job on it, even though they were from USC. All right. And now for a quick overview. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Bob. Have a wonderful holiday season. Maria Milan, Dr. Milan.
Thank you so much, Art. Doug, could you project the presentation, please? Or Jeff? Thank you for this opportunity to give a very brief overview. I will go quickly because I know we're short on time. Next slide, please. I thought I'd just, you've heard, this is the history of CIRM, the formation and the continuation. And CIRM has created an identity and a value proposition as an accelerated patient-centric funder de-risker of basic translational and clinical research, setting up critical infrastructure and education programs. And we will build on that for the next strategy, which I hope to give just a very brief overview that is still being considered by the board and will be brought in December for final adoption. Next slide, please. Just for a backgrounder, CIRM has funded over 1,030 projects in total, with advancing over 90 candidates into clinical development and directly funding over 76 clinical trials, and it's growing by the month, with over 3,000 patients enrolled in these trials across a broad range of indications, from rare disease, common disease, from early stage to pivotal near marketing clinical trials. Just judging from what's currently active in our portfolio, the furthest along that we should expect to see some signals and potentially submission for marketing approval in the upcoming years are gene therapies, CAR T therapies, and cell-based therapies. And that as our funding opportunities are monthly, we expect that that'll continue to grow. We have proof of concept that this technology platform works. We have patients who have been cured, who have been published in journals such as New England Journal of Medicine. They're making their way toward full market approval and more accessibility to the general public. But here's the picture on the right is a patient, Evie, who had adenosine deaminase, or ADA SCID, bubble baby disease, who's out 7 years after her transplant, a single treatment, and she's cured, along with 50 others who've demonstrated a 90% cure at 2 years and 100% cure at 3 years. It is a phenomenal transformation of the field and possibilities. Brent on the left demonstrates this is also applied to other forms of genetic disease. He has chronic granulomatous disease, out 5 years from cure from this. And these are just some examples. These programs are continuing to progress, and more data is being accumulated. In addition, CIRM has set up the first-in-kind regenerative medicine-focused Alpha Clinics network, which you'll hear about. Its great success with supporting over 100 clinical trials, with accelerating and shared resources and innovative approaches, and training the next generation of clinical trialists and physician scientists, as well as nursing and other specialists involved in the delivery both of clinical trials and future approved therapies. Next slide, please. In addition, good medicine starts with strong science. CIRM has and will continue to fund the basic research that leads to these potential therapies and cures. It's funded programs leading to over 3,000 peer-reviewed publications, set up infrastructure, research infrastructure, the largest stem cell bank, created opportunities to discover new research and translational tools that enable the entire endeavor, as well as major amounts of data sets that characterize the genomics and the biologic activities leading to this and potentially identifying cures for and treatments for these diseases. Next slide, please. The impact is tremendous, even with the first leg of CIRM with Prop 71, with building the next generation. And we have relaunched our education programs as one of the first programs we relaunched. So far, CIRM programs have trained over 3,000 students and scholars. The programs that we have relaunched are intended to add within it diversity, equity, and inclusion, and exposure in training, as well as awareness, so that we create a workforce that can truly deliver these treatments to all those afflicted. The economic impact report that you heard about that examined CIRM's impact from 2000 to 2018. And this does not even include anything related to product revenue generation or anything like that. Estimated approximately $11 billion of gross output and taxes, and creation of at least 56,000 new jobs during that time period. We expect that this will grow even further. CIRM is positioned to continue to attract industry funding. When we launched our strategic plan 5 years ago, there was industry wasn't yet ready to invest in the field. and just over the past 4 to 5 years, attracted $18 billion of investment into our portfolio programs by way of licensing, partnership, IPOs, and follow-on financing. Next slide, please. So we have, along with our board, along with CIRM's board, have been in the process of looking at what we were going to do with the next phase of CIRM under Prop 14, and we've expanded our mission statement to accelerating world-class science to deliver transformative regenerative medicine treatments in an equitable manner to a diverse California and world. And I will explain to you tactically what we intend to do in the first 5-year strategic plan that has been presented in draft form to the board. Next slide, please. In terms of advancing world-class science, and I'm going to review this with relevance, I think, to the AAWG. The idea behind advancing world-class science is not only to continue to fund the best science, but to organize it in a way that we create knowledge networks and expertise to generate these data and knowledge networks. The value to AAWG consideration is this could potentially be very important in terms of evidence generation and feeding the data sets, knowledge to inform the initiatives considered by this committee. In addition, the next kind of pillar of strategic initiatives are a term deliver real-world solutions. The goal being to advance more therapies to FDA and marketing approval through partnerships with regulatory bodies, industry, academic, and community centers. We are already engaged in conversations with critical mass, work groups that involve the FDA stakeholders. And there's also a movement toward aligning more the conversations between CMS and the FDA regarding what types of evidence-based and information is required as we gather information all through the development of these products and clinical trials. So in this body of goals, we will leverage a very well-established and proven therapeutics development portfolio approach in order to have these conversations, our advisory panels to do it. We'll fund a manufacturing network to overcome hurdles that we're encountering with tech transferring out early stage programs from academia out to commercialization, expand the Alpha Clinics network that I alluded to earlier, as well as not just develop, but create the community care centers that are responsive to the needs of the community. And then finally, finally, provide opportunity for all. And this is a major part, a major goal within the next 5 years to support the AAWG and the creation of a roadmap for access and affordability. Next slide, please. I'm going to go, I know that Art, you need me to go quickly, but I just wanted to so I'm not going to go through this. It's evidence generation.
We're going to lose the audience. So let's go to any questions of Maria at this point. All right. I want to thank you, Maria. And those slides will be made available to the working group members.
Okay. Yes, they'll be made available to the working group members.
Great.
Thank you, Art.
No, thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. And I'm just so mindful of our members' time. So I just wanted to end it with our presentation from Maria Bonneville, who is our Vice President for Public Outreach and Board Governance. On the most important topic, as far as I'm concerned, is the patient advocates. Without them, we would never have gotten the signatures needed to qualify. Without them, this proposition would never have passed. And just one correction, Bob said I worked in the campaign. He's absolutely right, but it was on my own time and my vacation time, not on state time. Maria Bonneville.
Thank you, Art, and thank you to the committee for being here and the important work you're doing. So as a state agency created and supported by the people of California, CIRM has always understood the importance of informing the public on CIRM's activities, our funding, education programs, et cetera. Our outreach efforts included patient and patient advocate communities who were essential to the passage of both Proposition 71 and 14. That outreach came in a variety of different ways: in-person presentations at individual support group meetings, in-person presentations at conferences organized around specific diseases or at rare disease umbrella events, online presentations, discussions via Google Hangout, Facebook Live, Zoom, and email blasts to the individuals from our Stem Cell Champions email list, 1,600 so far, who specified an interest in a particular disease. Our message was generally geared to a particular disease or condition, highlighting the work we are funding in that area, and also talking about other stem cell and regenerative medicine treatments targeting that condition. Let me see. Oh, there. The passage of Prop 14 is giving us a chance to build and expand on that original approach and reach out to diverse communities that in the past were overlooked when it comes to medical and scientific research. Message needs to be one that positions us as a trusted organization for information. People need to understand that we are not selling anything, and our only role is to help offer unbiased, thoughtful, easy to understand information. Listen to the concerns and issues of different communities to better understand the specific challenges they face. Ask the communities what they would like from us in terms of information, support, and resources. Provide information about clinical trials we fund or that are being offered throughout the clinics and in time, clinical excellence. Offer guidance about clinical trials found on the clinicaltrials.gov website and other therapies being offered by predatory stem cell clinics, and stay in regular touch with communities so they know we are committed to working with them and not just coming in and then leaving equally quickly when it suits us. So finally, what I'd like to say is that in my budget, I have included money for a community outreach consultant to come on board and help us navigate sort of our new path towards outreach. Somebody who has community organizing skills and also has experience in patient advocacy. They'll be able to set sort of a strategy for us, and it will be a position that we will in turn hire to run that sort of outreach program. That's it. Thank you, Art.
Thank you, Maria. Any questions of Maria Bonneville by any of the members? All right. Any public comment, which we'll reserve now to the end of our discussion? Any public comment? Maria, have you received any inquiries?
No, I do not see any.
Okay. Well, I said I promised to end it by noon, and I will continue to
Art,
that commitment. Yes.
we actually do have one public comment.
Okay, let's proceed.
Yeah, if you'd like to start, you have 3 minutes.
Am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee Witkowski. I'm a policy and engagement manager at the Innovative Genomics Institute. Our institute is an academic partnership between UC Berkeley and UC San Francisco, and it was co-founded by Nobel Prize winner Jennifer Doudna. Our mission at the institute is to bridge revolutionary genome editing tool development to affordable and accessible solutions in human health, climate, and agriculture. And in fact, with CIRM as a key supporter, our researchers have been able to advance multiple therapies to the clinic in the past, including most recently, the only academic genome editing clinical trial for sickle cell disease. And our researchers are in the process of developing more therapies for future use. And as our mission states, we're committed to making the products of our research affordable and accessible, but we're growing more and more concerned about the growing trajectory of high-priced gene therapies coming out of for-profit companies, even when the research and development and clinical trials have started in academia and been at least partially publicly funded, by and large, by CIRM. So to address what we see as a barrier to achieving our institute's mission, we are launching a project that we're titling Pioneering Models for Affordable CRISPR Genomic Therapies. And this will create an affordability task force, similar title to yours. And it's launching in January.
Well, I thought we were copyrighted. I guess we're not.
Well, we'll have to look into that. And the aim of our task force is to identify, evaluate, and envision alternative pathways or alternative steps in the process to commercialization or distribution, and to help us develop a roadmap that can outline some concrete strategies for our own institute to deliver our new gene therapies at an affordable cost. And so by doing so, we aim to not only guide our own products, but also provide information and a proof of concept for the field. This task force is going to be composed of 4 subgroups. Those subgroups will be looking at specific aims, explore organization and funding models, We'll look at develop IP and licensing strategies, map manufacturing steps and regulatory costs, and look at new and innovative approaches to fair pricing and access. And we just wanted to
I didn't get any public comment on the meeting. Did you have any public comment on the meeting itself that we just were about to finish?
Sure. The main point of this is just to let you all know that we are here and we are thrilled at the formation of this work group, and we would be excited to contribute where helpful, as well as share the findings of our own.
I am very grateful for that, and I will reach out to you at the beginning of the year. All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Any other public comment? There being none, happy holidays to all of you, and thank you so much for your participation. I will be sending out a memo probably mid-January with the specific subcommittees that Maria, JT, and I will come up with that can serve as the model as we move forward to divide the work and make it a more efficient working group. And thank you again for your time. And believe me, I know you're all working pro bono here, and it's a real contribution to the people and the patients of California. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
One.